startling ghost story associated with it. In 1882, the governor's daughter, Carrie, there have witnessed astral apparitions in mid-air, disembodied voices calling out to them from the great beyond. Bull Cemetery in Springfield, Nebraska is said to be home to many ghostly visitors. The two most commonly cited are a tall, angry man who kicks over gravestones in the dead of night, and a woman named Mary Mumford who is constantly cited as chasing visitors. The Bowers Mansion in Washoe City, Nevada has many years of paranormal activity to its name. The home used to belong to local millionaires Ellie and Sandy Bowers, but after which apparently permanently altered the spiritual equilibrium around the estate. Alton Town Hall in Alton, New Hampshire is one of the few haunted government buildings. Many individuals have witnessed furniture floating, papers disappearing, and strange noises. Pine Barrens, New Jersey is home to all sorts of ghosts and ghouls, the most famous of which is the iconic Jersey Devil. According to local folklore, the 13th child of a woman named Deborah Leeds was offered to the devil while she was pregnant in 1735. After the child had been born, it developed talons, horns, and wings. It then killed his mother, siblings, and the midwife who delivered it before disappearing into the darkness of the night. Near Albuquerque, New Mexico, and you meet a woman named Josefina. It might be in your best interest to avoid interacting with her. Josefina is not the kind groundskeeper she pretends to be. Rather, she's a long-dead resident of the area who was obsessed with the mansion while she was alive. New York's entry into the long list of rundown psychiatric facilities littered across the country is Letchworth Village. Like many other dilapidated mental health facilities, Letchworth has a long list of ghostly visitors that the still living have seen strolling the grounds. Theodosia Burr, the daughter of the founding father Aaron Burr, is believed to haunt the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. A ship she was aboard crashed there in 1812, and her spirit has allegedly never left. Many visitors to Fort Abraham Lincoln after the fort was constructed. The currently decommissioned Moonville Tunnel is a favorite spot amongst both explorers and ghost hunters who are located in the Ohio area. The tunnel was previously used as a local railway, but since it has fallen into disuse, many long-dead engineers and railroad tunnels in Portland, Oregon, got their name from the early 19th century practice of Shanghaiing, in which sailors would be kidnapped, shipped to East Asia, and forced to work on shipping vessels. The tunnels were used to ferry these unwilling men into a life of forced servitude. It's said that the victims of the Shanghai tunnels can still be seen by the stray tourist, even now. Easter State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, like many of the locations featured on this list, has plenty of famous ghosts still haunting its walls. Al Capone and notorious bank robber Slick Willie being two of the most popular ones. The Breakers in Newport, Rhode Island is a sprawling mansion that's so famous, it's been turned into a museum. Alice Vanderbilt, the matriarch of the egregiously wealthy Vanderbilt family, lived in the mansion for many years. Her ghost is said to haunt it to this day. Poinsett Bridge in Greenville is the state's oldest bridge. It's also said to be haunted by quite a few ghosts, largely due to an accident during construction that resulted in a man being entombed within the bridge's structure. The Bullock Hotel in Deadwood, South Dakota is said to be haunted by its original owner, Seth Bullock. He's a gruff man with a large mustache who is usually spotted on the second floor landing, cleaning or working late into the night. Memphis's most haunted location is the Orpheum Theater. A little girl named Mary is one of the 6 ghosts that linger in the lobby between shows. Many theatergoers have also seen her in the wings just as the shows end, yearning to go out on stage. Do you remember the Alamo? Well, the ghosts that died during the 1836 Battle of the Alamo sure do. Many people have witnessed them reenacting the fateful day, trapped in the never-ending loop. Hopefully, these wandering spirits will find solace they're looking for eventually, but that doesn't seem likely. The Fort Douglas Military Museum in Salt Lake City is haunted by a soldier named Clem who died in the fort during the Civil War. Legend has it that he's preoccupied with a specific building in the museum's campus, his ghost always attempting to gain entrance and yet never succeeding. Emily's Bridge in Stowe, Vermont is haunted by a young woman named Emily who killed herself due to an unrequited love. Her love was so strong that she still can be seen around the area, pining for her never-would-be lover. The Stonewall Jackson Memorial Cemetery, as you might imagine, is haunted to this day by the ghosts of the actual Stonewall Jackson and a legion of his Confederate soldiers. Visitors to the cemetery often see him riding a horse in the distance. The Northern State Mental Hospital in Sedro-Woolley, Washington, was operational from 1912 to 1976. In the years since it's been shut down, there have been countless sightings of former patients attempting to get back into the building. They're also often seen digging in the graveyard behind the old gymnasium, attempting to find their long-lost friends who have been buried there in unmarked graves. There are many shuttered mental health facilities across the country, but one of the most haunted is the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. At its peak in the 1950s, it was home to over 2,500 inmates. It was closed down in 1994. Today, many people have reported hearing a cacophony of angry spirits lurking in the shadows of the old building. The Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is the home of a recurring series of strange noises. No one knows exactly what they are or where they came from, but almost everyone who stays in the hotel has heard them. The Occidental Hotel in Buffalo, Wyoming boasts a cavalcade of celebrity undead. Current-day visitors have supposedly seen Butch Cassidy, Calamity Jane, Buffalo Bill, and even Teddy Roosevelt staying at the hotel. So, what do you think? Are there any local haunts that you'd like to add to this list? Let us
with payments starting as low as
hanged and left is rife with a wide variety of ghostly activity. The Old Montana Prison in Deer Lodge, Montana, was the state prison from 1870 until 1979. Inmate conditions were terrible, and there were a number of horrifying incidents.
The saying is that when they walked through Tower 7, they lost their souls.
The most notorious event in the prison's history is the riot of 1959, during which prisoners took control of the prison for 36 hours. During the riot, they imprisoned the guards in the hole, killed the deputy warden, and held the warden hostage in hopes of attaining better living conditions for all inmates. Their demands weren't met. Instead, the National Guard were called in, and the two ringleaders wound up committing suicide. In 1979, after the prison shut down, it became a museum, now notorious cold spots, but the spirit that has physically shoved people. One friendly ghost is said to be that of Turkey Pete, a well-loved but mentally ill inmate who sold nearby turkeys to other prisoners in exchange for fake money. Humma Park in Omaha, Nebraska, has been the subject of wild legends going back over a century, making it perhaps the most haunted place in the Cornhusker State. The park was originally the most classic of haunted locations, a Native American burial ground. Beyond that, the park's trees are said to be permanently dead due to a series of lynchings that took place there in the early 1900s. Legends say an abandoned shelter known as Devil's Den was the site of satanic rituals and sacrifices. And there's also a rumor that a hidden colony of albinos have been hiding in the woods since. Is any of that true? Who knows? But the park is home to a set of steps called the Morphing Stairs, because they never have the same set of steps twice and might lead to hell. Plus, an overlook called the Devil's Slide. Many suicides are said to have happened. Virginia City, Nevada was a boom town in the mid-1800s thanks to the Comstock War, the first major lode of silver ore discovered in the United States. In the 1870s, the cool hangout was the city's oldest saloon, the Washoe Club. The wealthy citizens who hung out there included tycoons, magnates, and politicians. Today, the saloon is best known as the most haunted building in a city already famous for being the most haunted in the Silver State. The old saloon, now a museum, is home to a number of famous ghosts.
Well, we call this the demonic spirits room. We've had as many as 26 people that I could verify got scratched in this room.
Perhaps the most famous is the so-called Lady in Blue, who is frequently spied at the top of the saloon's spiral staircase. Other ghosts include that of a frightened little girl, as well as a crusty old prospector who allegedly steals unattended drinks from patrons of the bar. The legend of ocean-born Mary goes as follows. Mary Wallace was born to a pair of Scotch-Irish immigrants in 1720 on the ship bringing them to America. Almost immediately after her birth, the ship was captured by pirates, but the captain was moved to mercy when he heard the baby crying and promised to let them all go free if the baby was named Mary, after his mother. The mother agreed, and the pirate gave her some green silk to use to make the girl's wedding dress. Mary eventually grew up and settled in Henniker, New Hampshire, living an otherwise fairly normal life. After her death, however, a new tenant at the home that would come to be known as the Ocean-born Mary House began to tell everyone Mary's ghost could often be seen rocking in her rocking chair. He further claimed that Mary had reunited with the pirate captain in her widowhood, and his treasure was buried in the orchard. Don't let the fact that Mary never actually lived in this house stop you from enjoying the legends. New Jersey is home to a large region said to be packed to the gills with ghosts, monsters, and devils, the 1.1 million-acre region of preserved woodlands known as the Pine Barrens. The most famous entity of the Pinelands is the Jersey Devil, who, according to legend, is the offspring of a human woman who cursed her 13th child to become the devil, turning him into a creature with a goat's head, bat wings, and a pointed tail. But that's not the only spooky creature said to lurk in the Pine Barrens.
Where you going? Don't go out there.
The ghost of a black doctor who was lynched is said to roam the forest, helping people who get lost among the pines. A ghostly white stag is likewise said to warn travelers of danger. The numerous ghost towns within the Barrens are also said to be full of the restless dead, including the spirits of dead workers from the old mills and factories that used to operate there. The Chemo Theater in Albuquerque, New Mexico, was built in 1927 by entrepreneur Oreste Buqueque in Pueblo Deco. The Chemo hosted vaudeville acts, silent movies, and other performances. And today, the theater is still a local institution, listed on the Register of Historic Places, and one of the most haunted places in the land of enchantment. The Chemo's most famous saint is Bobby, said to be the ghost of a young boy who died in 1951 when the theater's boiler exploded in the basement.
Said with such thrust against this wall, cracked open his skull, he was found.
Bobby's a mischievous ghost, playing pranks and tricks on the theater staff and guests alike. He's generally seen on the staircase wearing a striped t-shirt and jeans. Staff try to appease the young spirit by hanging donuts and other treats on the pipes backstage, and Bobby causes trouble when these are removed. Other ghosts include a woman in a bonnet who's often seen strolling the halls. The infamous Rolling Hills Asylum in East Bethany, New York, was originally known as the Genesee County Poor Farm, designed to be a shelter for not only the poor, but also widows, orphans, the mentally and physically disabled, and in some cases, criminals. The Poor Farm operated from 1827 to 1974, and during that time, more than 1,700 people are said to have died there.
The sick, the insane, and the poor once walked these hallways. Many of them drew their last breath on these grounds.
The location is now one of the most haunted places in America. Famous ghosts at what is now known as Rolling Hills include Roy, the gentle spirit of a man with gigantism who was abandoned by his family due to his physical deformity. His large shadow is commonly seen roving the hallways. The malevolent ghost of a cruel nurse named Emmy, alleged to have performed satanic rituals on inmates at the farm, can be heard cackling in the infirmary. Ghosts are often sighted in the psych ward, the solitary confinement cells, the morgue, and the mysterious shadow hallway.
The key to fast repairs is having tools organized and close at hand. U.S. General's top-rated cards provide advanced features at an incredible value. Our best-selling cards come in 4 sizes and an extensive selection of colors, only at Harbor Freight.
P.F. Chang's is hosting a Chef's Feast. You can get a 3-course meal starting at under $20 per person. Find craveable lettuce wraps and a full menu of flavors to celebrate with friends, family, everyone. Come see why we're America's #1 Asian bistro.
The oldest and most famous examples of unexplained paranormal activity in the Tar Heel State is the Brown Mountain Lights, a series of ghost lights that have been reported on or near Brown Mountain in the Pisgah National Forest for over a century.
Would I say that they're real? I wouldn't say they're not real.
The lights are said to appear in a number of different colors, including red, white, yellow, blue, and orange. They look like anything from small candle lights to large fireballs, hovering over the ground before shooting up into the sky. A number of explanations have been proposed for the lights, including aliens, nitrous vapors, train lights, and the ghosts of Native American maidens searching for the souls of men who died in battle. Whatever the source of the lights, they're one of the spookiest phenomena North Carolina has to offer. The Totten Trail Historic Inn in Fort Totten, North Dakota, is said to be full of ghosts. The inn was built between 1867 and 1873 and originally served as living quarters for military officers, but spent most of its history as a boarding school for Native American children. According to legend, many of them died there.
The thought was to kill the Indian and save the man. Their language was to be unspoken.
For many years, visitors to the inn have reported strange happenings, including objects moving on their own, mysterious darting shadows, doors opening and closing, a feeling of being watched, and even sightings of full-on apparitions. Besides the ghosts of the school children, the inn is believed to be haunted by a man and woman who died at the inn just before its modern renovation. The Ridges in Athens, Ohio, is a building complex owned by Ohio University and used as classrooms and offices, but the development was originally known as the Athens Lunatic Asylum. It's said to be one of the most haunted locations in the Buckeye State. Built in 1867, the elaborate Victorian facility housed 572 patients, almost double the intended population. The asylum is known for performing lobotomies, electroshock therapy, and other treatments considered archaic and inhumane today. Ghosts haunting the former asylum include that of Margaret Schilling, who can be seen peering out of windows and trying to escape the hospital grounds.
The stain of Margaret's body remains on the floor of the building and returns when it is cleaned.
Other spirits include former patients seen wandering the halls, the squeaking wheels of gurneys, unexplained lights, and the screams of patients resounding through the hallways. The basement is said to be populated by the ghosts of patients who were shackled there and forgotten, and the facility's large cemetery is rumored to be a gathering place for witches. Guthrie, Oklahoma has a reputation as the most haunted city in the state, and perhaps the city's most spook-filled building is the historic Stone Lion Inn. The building was originally built in 1907 as the Houghton family home. At the time, the fourth-floor, 8,000 square foot mansion was the most expensive home in town. By the 1920s, it was a funeral home, and in the 1980s, it became a bed and breakfast. Apparently, some of its past tenants loved the house so much that they never left, even after death. The ghosts of the inn are thought to include Irene Houghton, who died of whooping cough in the house and still roams the halls, moving objects, especially toys, around at whim. The Houghton father has often been seen smoking a pipe in the halls, and guests report the sounds of ghost children romping through the building, jumping on beds, rolling balls across the floors, and even tucking them into bed at night. The ruined building in Portland, Oregon, now known as the Witch's Castle, was originally the property of a man named Danford Balk, who hired a man named Mortimer Stump to help him clear the area. When Stump fell in love and eloped with Balk's daughter, Balk shot Stump in the face. He was arrested and executed for murder in 1859. The property then came to belong to the city of Portland, which built the stone structure now known as the castle in the 1930s and used it as a park ranger station. The building was damaged by a storm in the 1960s, after which it was abandoned to the woods until partying teens discovered it in the 1980s. It's been a hangout spot ever since. The hollow stone shell of the former ranger station, now covered in moss and graffiti, is thought to be the home to the feuding spirits of Balk and Stump, whose laughter, screams, and whispers are frequently heard in the area. The 1863 Battle of Gettysburg was the turning point of the American Civil War. Some 50,000 men died or were gravely injured in the battle, and many of them never received a proper burial. It's no wonder the site is said to be host to a large number of restless spirits, including that of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. The Daniel Lady Farm, used as a Confederate field hospital during the battle, bore witness to thousands of dead and dying men, and it's said that the ghost of General Richard Ewell and 10,000 of his men still haunt the site. Likewise, the Balladary Inn was the Union Army's field hospital, but it too is alleged to be haunted by the Confederate soldiers buried under its tennis court. The inn's gazebo is a hotspot for ghost sightings, and the battlefield itself is, of course, said to be home to innumerable wandering souls. In 1970, the Perrin family moved into a farmhouse known as the Old Arnold Estate, a 200-acre farm in Harrisville, Rhode Island. The family were soon experiencing paranormal events and a general sense of uneasiness in their own home. They called in famed paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren to determine the cause of the spooky happenings. The Warrens claimed the house was haunted by the ghost of Bathsheba Sherman, a Satanist who lived there during the 19th century and was said to be responsible for the hair-pulling, door-slamming, night screaming, and other phenomena happening in the Perrin home. If this sounds familiar, it's because it's the plot of the 2013 film The Conjuring, based on events in the Perrin home as recorded by the Warrens. The Arnold Estate, now known as the farm on Round Top Road or just the Conjuring House, is available to tour, and guests report strange happenings there to this day. You know that show Our Flag Means Death? The one where gentleman pirate Steve Bonnet and Blackbeard kiss and drink tea and stuff?
Here we are, just a whole band of us.
Well, in 1718, the real-life Steve Bonnet and 30 of his men were hanged near White Point in Charleston, South Carolina, after a failed attempt to capture the city. Their bodies were left hanging for days to rot in the sweltering southern sun before being thrown into the marshes as a sign of how unwelcome piracy was on South Carolina's shores. To this day, Battery Park and White Point Garden are known as the place where pirates are hanged. The ghosts of the dozens of pirates hanged at White Point are said to lurk in the bucolic garden, with visitors claiming to have seen faces peering at them from the trees and apparitions of bodies swinging from the branches. At midnight, screams are said to tear through the air, and the faces of the executed pirates can be seen reflected in the water.
Refresh the everyday with Mentos Gum. Yes to fresh.
The Hotel Alex Johnson in Rapid City, South Dakota, was built in the 1920s by railroad tycoon Alex Johnson as a luxurious place to stay while visiting nearby Mount Rushmore. In its century-long history, the hotel has hosted presidents, celebrities, and dignitaries, and was even used in Alfred Hitchcock's classic 1959 thriller North by Northwest. But the Hotel Alex Johnson is rumored to be the most haunted hotel in South Dakota, thanks in part to a number of unsolved deaths that occurred on the grounds. The three ghosts most unexplained by the guests of the hotel include Alex Johnson himself, who is said to stick around to make sure his hotel is being taken care of properly. Next is a little girl who runs up and down the 8th-floor hallway, knocking on doors, giggling and vanishing. The third is the Lady in White, a bride who died there mysteriously on her wedding night. In 1817, John Bell and his family started experiencing weird phenomena in their Adams, Tennessee cabin. Strange animals began appearing, and soon there were odd knocking sounds coming from both outside and inside the house. Add to that the sound of rats chewing, rocks falling, chains rattling, and more. Eventually, an entity spoke to the Bell family. It identified itself as the witch of Old Cape Bacchus, and soon became known as the Bell Witch.
Eventually, those noises came inside. They went to Bell's room, and they started slapping and pulling at her hair.
Kate tortured the family, especially Patriarch John and daughter Betsy, on an almost daily basis for 3 years, pinching, pulling hair, poking with pins, and scratching. Once John Bell died in 1820, the witch considered her mission accomplished and left the family alone before returning briefly 7 years later. It's believed Kate's spirit now haunts the cave on the Bell's property and is still responsible for strange happenings around Adams today. Texas is the most haunted state in America, with more reports of paranormal sightings than anywhere else in the U.S. As a result, there are a number of very strong candidates for the most haunted place in the Lone Star State, including the Alamo and the unexplained Arnold Lights. But the most likely place to one of those is Austin's Driscoll Hotel. The Driscoll was built in 1886 by cattle baron Jesse Driscoll, who made a fortune selling beef to the Confederate Army. The Driscoll ghosts include Jesse himself, who lost the hotel in a poker game shortly after its opening. He's seen smoking cigars in the guest rooms. Room 329 is said to be home to the ghost of a woman who killed herself after her fiancé called off her wedding. The child who fell down the stairs reaching for their ball can also allegedly be seen bouncing its toy in the stairwell.
She likes to put water on her eyes, flicker the lights. She'll sometimes tell me to feet.
There's a haunted painting on the 5th floor as well. And even the ghosts of Lyndon and Lady Bird Johnson are said to hang around the ballroom. The old Tooele Hospital in Tooele, Utah, was originally the family home of Samuel F. Lee, but over time became a corporate vessel and a public hospital. The hospital was underfunded and didn't even have a boiler. Bodies were stacked in an unrefrigerated room until the coroner arrived. These days, the old hospital is the site of a haunted attraction called Asylum 49. A tourist attraction or not, the site is said to be the location of much real paranormal activity.
And you can physically see a spirit that has eyes, nose, that's the part that comes to that.
The ghosts include that of former owner Samuel F. Lee and his young son Thomas, who plays pranks on visitors. The ghost of an elderly patient named Wes is said to aimlessly wander the building with a dangerous dark entity close by. A spectral nurse named Maria is supposed to protect visitors from accidentally stepping through a portal to the other side. The old hospital allegedly has several. There are a number of other spirits in addition to the traditional words, mists, and spooky sounds. There's a legend in Stove about a covered bridge on the aptly named Covered Bridge Road. As the story goes, in the 1920s, a teenage girl was waiting for her boyfriend at a certain covered bridge so they could elope. But her boyfriend never showed, and in despair, the young girl, known as Emily, hanged herself from the bridge's rafters. Or maybe she was left at the altar and sped away from the church in a carriage that crashed over the bridge, or some other variation. Whatever the story, Emily's Bridge is said to be one of the most haunted places in America. Visitors claim those that drive through the covered bridge emerge with long, claw-like gouges down the sides of their cars. The bridge is supposed to be home to strange visual phenomena, including orbs and unexplained lights, as well as a spooky woman's voice. One ghost hunter claims he experienced terrible pains in his neck and a roaring sound in his ears when he went to look for Emily's ghost. St. Albans Sanatorium in Radford, Virginia, was originally a Lutheran boys' school where bullying was encouraged to the point that a number of students took their own lives. In 1916, the building was converted into a psychiatric hospital designed to provide a more humane environment for patients than other such facilities across the U.S. at the time, boasting a bowling alley, roof garden, and even a small farm on the grounds. Nevertheless, the sanatorium performed cruel and experimental treatments on patients, including electroconvulsive therapy and lobotomies. St. Albans was also tragically understaffed and overcrowded. The facility closed in the 1990s, but the negative energy of the hospital seems to have left its mark.
Oh, no, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Today, the old building is open for tours, in which visitors claim to have seen full-body apparitions, shadowy figures, and mysterious floating objects. Others have heard voices and even been touched by unseen entities. Hell's Irish Restaurant and Pub in Seattle, Washington, has been in the basement of the Butterworth Building near Pike Place Market since 2009. The Butterworth Building was originally the city's first permanent mortuary.
For decades, almost everybody who died in Seattle passed through these walls. The business end of death took place in these offices.
Attracted to the fun pandemic, who plays pranks on patrons. In 1926 is a place for local coal mining families to swim, picnic, and ride the Ferris wheel and swings. But by the 1950s, children began dying there. A girl was hit by a delivery truck while riding the swings, and a boy drowned after getting stuck in the pool's drain. The park closed in 1966, then reopened in the 1980s, before closing permanently a few years later. After the park closed, the owners discovered artifacts from the local Shawnee tribe buried on the property and a mass grave.
So we could be standing on more unmarked graves.
I'm sure we are.
As we know, native burial grounds mean hauntings. The girl who died on the swings is said to still sit on the abandoned ride, and the drowned boy has been spotted roaming various areas of the park. Visitors have also reported finding previously unseen shapes and figures in their pictures from the park. Summerwind Mansion, near Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin, has had a haunted history from the very beginning. The large estate was originally known as the Lamont Mansion, converted from a fishing lodge to a private home by U.S. Commerce Secretary Robert Patterson Lamont in 1918. Even then, Lamont's staff claimed to see a spectral woman walking outside, and Lamont himself fired his gun at a figure later believed to have been a ghost. Subsequent owners reported seeing apparitions, with at least one family leaving the house because they felt unsafe. The house burned down in 1988, but that hasn't diminished its reputation as one of the most haunted places in America. Ghosts of Summerwind include the ghost Lamont shot at in the basement, a mysterious skull found on the wall, a woman in a white dress, and rooms that inexplicably changed sizes as workers tried to renovate them. One owner even felt a supernatural compulsion to play the organ every night until he was exhausted. The Wyoming Frontier Prison in Rawlins, Wyoming, also known as the Old Pen, operated as a penitentiary from 1901 until 1981. The Old Pen consisted of 104 cells that housed about 13,500 people over its 80-year history, including 11 women. As you might guess, the prison suffered from overcrowding, as well as a lack of electricity, running water, and heat. The facility was known for brutal punishments, including a dungeon which men capital punishment, including hanging and the gas chamber.
That energy, those murders, those suicides created a cobweb, a nest of residual dark energy.
Visitors to the prison have reported all manner of ghostly activity. Strange voices resound in empty cells, dark figures appear and vanish, and an oppressive atmosphere lingers over the whole place. Hotspots for activity seem to be the showers, the chapel, the women's facility, the solitary confinement cells, and the gas chamber.
We can help you.
tell me something like, do them niggas wasn't 100, cause all they love to do is brag and boast about who out here running through the bag of muscle, trying to strap they toe and how they cut, but we know that's a joke. You never cut a cue with the lactose, flood the streets with the dust and the crack smoke really up, just be acting, bro. You don't get no fuck if it's just a nickel pack of blow. I tell you what, you better have my cutter, or else I'm at your knee. Big house in the woods with the phantom ghost, but my trap spot right in the hood, so you just might see the rattle roll. On the kitchen counter, right next to a slab of coke and a county pack, they sit from the valley.
Taking precaution, ain't no blunt. They gave the shit you talking. One day you gon' have to run. They cut the script, don't know no cross. This ain't you can just admit it. One day you gon' have to run. Don't be thugging, really thugging. Get that up. Even them hoes, all the crosses, they might set that up. Get the fuck off the bus. Get that up. You be thugging, really thugging. Get that up.
Red light, green light, headlight, street lights, infrared, big light. All I know is street light, green lights, police lights for the LO, cheap price, holding on to my heat tight, rolling bezels with pink ice on that kettle and click out, sipping mojitos, cheap out till I pink out. They call me Bo cause I'm my street ties, pulling up in the peace signs, blowing bankies and rebounds. They say want the other one away, my last dream.
Who's your favorite Detroit rapper? I like Bodie James. Okay. He go crazy.
Where we at with
A little shit you niggas talk. Taking precaution, ain't no blunt. They gave the shit you talking. One day you gon' have to run. They cut the script, don't know no cross. This ain't you can just admit it. One day you gon' have to run. We be thugging, really thugging. Get that up. Even them hoes, all the crosses, they might set that up. Get the fuck off the bus. Get that up. You be thugging, really thugging. Get that up.
Smoking the best, shot at the rest, selling rocks in the jacks. Ask any cop that ever got an arrest. Then he had to earn his check, I made him work for that bonus. Kept a nag with a 30 cent and a circle of Yola. Did more dirt than a bulldozer. And my bird on the show, they getting pulled over. Thinking if they search it, it's all out of here. No commercial to show us. We quick to hop on the highway with that work in the road. Running from the rollers, no t-shirt with the blower. Open the kitchen sink, trying to ski skirt up scratches while you turn the burning the club and word on the shoes.
A little shit you niggas talk. Taking precaution, ain't no problem. They gave the shit you talking. One day you gon' have to run. They cut the script, don't know no cross. This ain't you can just admit it. One day you gon' have to run. We be thugging, really thugging. Get that up. Even them hoes, all the crosses, they might set that up. Get the fuck off the bus. Get that up. They say you be thugging, really thugging. Get that up.
No gang, everybody got positions on. Keep it 100, get bucket slugs and a sticky on. Come with your head, when your attention on. When your attention, I got bitches in it. I suck in your dick, I kick in your shit. Take out with your brick, check my background. No pity in gangsta shit. Nigga hollering man down, been getting on gangsta shit. You say you need it, still whipping your shit. You say you killer, niggas still taking your shit. Get the fuck out of here, yeah. Cut the
A little shit you niggas talk. Taking precaution, ain't no blunt. They gave the shit you talking. One day you gon' have to run. They cut the script, don't know no cross. This ain't you can just admit it. One day you gon' have to run. We be thugging, really thugging. Get that up. Even them hoes, all the crosses, they might set that up. Get the fuck off the bus. Get that up. Say you be thugging, really thugging. Get that up.
They say you be thugging, shit me too. Tell me something like, do them niggas wasn't 100, cause all they love to do is brag and boast about who out here running. That's a joke. You never cut a cue with the lactose, flood the streets with the dust and the crack smoke. You don't get no fuck if it's just a nickel pack of blow. I tell you what, you better have my cutter, or else I'm at your knee. Big house in the woods with the phantom ghost, but my trap spot right in the hood, so you just might see the rattle roll. On the kitchen counter, right next to a slab of coke and a county pack, they sit from the valley.
A little shit you niggas talk. Taking precaution, ain't no blunt. They gave the shit you talking. One day you gon' have to run. They cut the script, don't know no Even them hoes, all the drugs, they might set that up. Get the fuck, up the bus, put that up. Say you be thuggin', really thuggin', set that up.
Red light, green light, headlight, street lights, infrared, beam light. All I know is street light. 3 nights, police lights for the LO. Cheap price, holding on to my heat tight. Rolly bezels with pink ice on that kettle with click out. Sipping mojitos, cheap lava till I pink out. They call me Bo cause of my street ties. Pulling up in the peace signs, blowing bankies and rebounds. Say one the other one away, my last trip alive.
Who's your favorite Detroit rapper? I like Bodie James. Okay.
Blowing up the phone, she see me calling up. I whip up in the drown when she done packed up all my stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck? Can't even talk to her. I ain't gonna lie, this pussy good. It make me feel like stalking her. We supposed to be in love. Supposed to be in love. We supposed to be in love. There ain't no breaking up. Supposed to be in love. There ain't no breaking up. We can talk about it. Supposed to be in love.
You're through to your garage. You, need me to bring you a ride? It's coming at you. Okay, I got stuff to do.
Supposed to be in love. music will cope when I'm stretching. Across the street under a bando and here with your hoe could get her to go fetch. On the scale, but I call it a ruler, and that's what I'm using, my method of measure. Got it jumping up out of the pot and my clickety clucking surrounding my property. I meant to say my client ticketed. Numbers official ticket. Off the mud, ain't nobody did shit for me. Arrogant, often I'm bigoted. All about money like what they got into me. Breaking out bricks and me blowing good crickety. Say you ain't fitting me, ought to try killing me. Neighborhood love me, it's hard to get rid of me. My baby mothers are sick of me. I put that dick on them, now they ridiculous. Saying that when I don't come in, I'm with a freak bitch. I've been chasing my paper religiously. Why really in the street, others pretend to be. Let me get off of my grind and it's killing me. No one to beat me, coming and getting me out of the mud, nigga. I'm not 24.
Special K. For all the special reasons you move. Like bonding.
Ready, Mom? Let's go.
Serious, healthy bonding.
Hey, Degree. Yes, I'm staked out. I found the suspect, and I'm prepared to move in.
You'll stay in place until given further directions.
I want him today, sir. I can do this. Trust me.
You are one man. You will stay in place.
I have plenty of firepower, and I don't want him to get away.
Anthony Beeston is priority number one.
Fine, I understand.
Do not fuck this up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson.
And 25 at Bob Bell's. New trends in living room and bedroom with payments starting as low as 10 a month. And I always give you 5 years to pay. It's only good vibes and 25 for you at Bob Bell's.
Applebee's
Today's Pick Six during NFL playoff Saturday or Sunday. 6 free boneless wings on Monday.
I joined the IBEW for the kind of career we all want. With the IBEW, I'm powering a brighter future.
Tax professionals, listen up. Is your revenue flatline, or are you losing?
All my diamonds shine good, they really diamond.
Okay, it's time to catch the bus. You can have that. It's on the road from the prison to Toledo, and I'm here if you need me.
Texans from all walks of life are ready to vote on destination resorts.
It would definitely bring.
Bet a lot of pussy niggas wanna murder brats. Boulevard Mar-a-Lago in a Maserati. Booby black gunner and man is still a catch a body. And if you fuck around with razor, bitch, I'm out my body. Sideways, Kobe out my body. Whole clique pull up in vets, bitch, we out our body. And you ever disrespect it, then it's kamikaze. I just be with me a shooter like I'm John Gotti. I feel like John Gotti. Put your hands down when you talking to me, bitch.
Landed